Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This is my top games for the Nintendo Switch, my top 50 games. Somebody wrote to me and they said, Bill, I would love to hear your top 50 games on the Nintendo Switch. And I thought, that seems like a really fun project to do. So I took a couple of weeks and sat down and I looked at all of the games that I have on the Switch. I've got over 200 games on the Nintendo Switch, and I pared it down to my top 50, and then slowly over those couple weeks I started putting things in order. Now keep in mind, this is my list. These are the games that I liked the most, and if that's different than your list, that's totally fine. In fact, I would love to hear what you think about my list and what you would change. Let me know in the comments right down below. However, keep in mind that the day that I finished and finalized this list was like a 3-4 days ago, and I may actually feel different today. My feelings on these games are not set in stone, and even though I'm recording a video about it, it doesn't mean that I will feel the same way tomorrow that I do today about this list. In fact, we've got more games coming to the Nintendo Switch, so this list will have to change in the future, and maybe this will be like a yearly thing that I do. I'm not sure, but here are my top 50 games for the Nintendo Switch, keeping in mind that 50 on one video would be way too long. So I'm going to shorten it down to just numbers 50 through 41 for this video, and we'll have more videos in the future, so make sure that you like and subscribe and all those YouTube-y things that people ask you to do, and you'll be notified next time that I put out a list. Let's start with the first one, number 50. Don't think for a second that because this is last on the list that it's a bad game, because it's not. In fact, I am a big fan of Marble It Up. My son and I had a lot of fun playing this game. We went all the way through it from start to finish. It is super, super fun. And it's got some fantastic Marble Madness kind of feel to it. Except, you're behind the marble instead of, how do I want to say it? Instead of like the top down. There's another game that came out at a similar time called Road to Valhalla, which is similar, but is actually more like Marble Madness than this is, just because of the perspective. But it's really, really fun. This is really fast, and I had a lot of fun playing this very, very simple game. So that's number 50 on my list. And, don't think for a second that it's a bad game because it's number 50. All right, number 50 is out of the way. It's time for number 49. Number 49 is one that I was really surprised at. I actually played a version of this, I think, on the Xbox 360, and that was PacMan Championship Edition. But this is PacMan Championship Edition 2 Plus. This game is really, really cool. It's got fun multiplayer, and my God, the music that is in this game. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, ridiculous graphics with super bright neon Tron-like colors all over the place. It's got a wonderful aesthetic to it, and it's very fast and frenetic and incredibly fun. And that is why Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Plus on the Nintendo Switch is my number 49. All right, number 48. I adore this game. This game is so good. I wanted to put it higher, but there's just so many great games on the Nintendo Switch that I couldn't. And that is Skies of Fury DX. This is a really, really cool World War I era dogfighting game, which when this came out, I felt like we hadn't seen a dogfighting game in a really long time. But Skies of Fury DX on the Nintendo Switch is a fantastic version of a dogfighting game. It's got really, really cool visuals, almost like comic book cell shaded style, and it's just a gorgeous game, and it's also really fun. There was another dogfighting game came out at the same time, and if I had to pick between them, this one wins hands down. It's $20 on the Nintendo eShop, and it is incredibly fun. I highly recommend Skies of Fury DX for the Nintendo Switch. And now we're getting into one of my favorite genres. One of my favorite genres is Metroidvanias. Another one of my favorite genres is roguelikes. And when you take the two and you put them together, you get a game called A Robot Named Fight. And this game is really, really awesome. It's got a very weird aesthetic to it, very 16-bit look, but also like the whole level or world seems to be alive almost, except for you. You're a robot. And the game is $13 on Nintendo Switch. It's really fun. I played through it a while back, but the game is just super, super cool. It's very inspired by Metroid, as you can see in the video that they're showing here. You've got all these different abilities that you can pick up as you play, and as you find the abilities in the world, you unlock them for the next time that you play. So let's say that you go through and you find a game, or not a game, you find I can't think of anything off the top of my head. You find the ability to throw a grenade or something, and I can't remember if that's even in the game. What that means is that the next time that you play, because when you die, you go back to the beginning and you have to start over. The next time you play, you'll be able to actually unlock that and use that ability by finding it in the game. The first time that you find it is basically so that you can find it next time. I don't know if I explained that very well, but it's really cool. I never finished it because it was too hard, but it was really, really fun. And if you haven't picked it up, I highly suggest A Robot Named Fight. Really, really great game. It's got those roguelike elements. It's got the Metroidvania elements, and you can't go wrong there. I've lost count already as to where I am now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 46. Robot Named Fight must have been number 47. Number 46 is a game that you have to play on your Nintendo Switch next time you have a bunch of people over. And that is the game called Use Your Words. Use Your Words is very much like Jackbox, but I think that, you know, it's different enough that it's fine to own both. Use Your Words is the kind of game where you put the Switch in the dock, it puts the stuff up on the screen, and then everybody connects to it with their phones. So then everybody's got their own little controller, and they put things on the screen like a video, and then you have to. I think it's called Sub the Title is the name of the little mini game. You have to write the subtitle for whatever this video is, and obviously it can get quite risque depending on the people that you're playing with, or it can be family friendly. It's all up to the people who are playing. So keep that in mind when you're playing. Whatever you type will end up on the screen, so people can get really, really nasty. But also that means there's a lot of very funny moments. There's also like a game show style game where you have to make up a five word phrase that would ruin Mother's Day. So everybody writes the phrases, and then they put the phrases up on the screen, and then everybody selects, oh, this one was the funniest. It adds to a lot of laughter comes from games like this. And if you don't have Use Your Words for $15, you've got to check it out. It's really great. Hammerwatch comes in at number 45. Now, Hammerwatch is a top-down ARPG, kind of like Gauntlet or Diablo, like that style of game, but it is in like an 8-bit style. It's got a very, very cool graphic quality to it, and there's a bunch of classes in the game, so you could be like priests and warriors and rogues and necromancers and all that different stuff, and paladins. and you have to move your way around in the dungeon. It does have multiplayer. Fine, it took them a very, very long time to add this, but it has online multiplayer as well as local. I've never actually had the chance to play online multiplayer because so few people have it. But this is a great game on the Nintendo Switch. And if you're looking for something where you can sit down and do local co-op with a family member or a friend, this is awesome. It's a really, really fun game, and it's not super gross like Diablo is. So you can keep that in mind. This would appeal to more of a younger audience, although there's also a little bit of bullet hell going on in the game. So there will be tons of projectiles on the screens at some point, and it's really tough to avoid them. The difficulty level in Hammerwatch is pretty high. So, keep that in mind when you're playing. It does get very, very difficult to progress through the game, but it's really awesome. Another fantastic 4-player game that is on the Nintendo Switch, or up to 4 players, where you can sit down with 3 other people, and it can be people who don't really play video games, especially if I'm not going to reach over and grab my Joy-Con. You know what a Joy-Con looks like, especially with just one Joy-Con in your hand and just pushing those 4 buttons, is not a brain buster. This game is absolutely bananas, and it's only $2 on the Nintendo Switch. So basically, the way that it works is you are a man or a woman. I'm not deciding your gender, but you're a little person on a cube, okay? And in the middle of the cube, it will say a direction or a color, and then the 4 sides of the face of the cube that you're on will either be lit up with the color, or obviously left is left, that kind of thing. And there's a little line that goes around the outside of the face of the cube that you're on, or the face of the side of the cube that you're on. That's a terrible sentence. And you have until that little ticker goes away to make your decision about which direction you want to go. And if you go the wrong way, your person explodes and then they come back. Now, that seems fine. So if it says left, your guy goes left. If it says up, your guy goes up. If it says blue, your guy goes towards the blue spot. If you're watching, if you're looking right over there, you can tell exactly what I mean. Now, everything seems easy until you look right over here where it says not right. So you have to make sure, oh, not right. That means I can go up, left, or down. And then you get into play things where it's like do nothing. So you have to stand there and do nothing until the timer runs out. And then you have a side that might say like not red, then red. So you have to not go to the red, and then when you're on the next page, go to the red. So if you're looking at this picture right here, not red and then red, and if you look, all 4 sides are red, that means do nothing because you can't go where red is. And then after the timer runs out, go to the red spot. Then you can have things say like green and right. Okay, well, if it says and, then you can follow the direction afterwards because you know that that's the right direction. And as you can see, things get really, really crazy. It'll say things like not blue and not blue. So that's where the not name of not comes in. It is an incredibly hilarious and very difficult game to play, but it's not difficult because of the input mechanics. It's difficult because you've got this pressure of that line disappearing slowly over time, and you're like, oh my god, I have to make a decision quickly or I'm not going to do it in time. And then, oh no, you might make the wrong decision. So not is really great, and that comes in at number 44 on this list of 50 best Nintendo Switch games. Another game that has fantastic local co-op is Overcooked. Now, Overcooked 2 is also on the Switch, but I haven't played that. I only played Overcooked 1. I got Overcooked 1 Special Edition. It's $20 on the Nintendo Switch. And if you've never heard of Overcooked, you're going to be yelling at the people that you're playing with. Don't get it if you don't have people to play with. But basically you are in a kitchen and you have to divide up the tasks of the kitchen. Like somebody needs to be washing dishes, someone needs to be cutting up vegetables, someone needs to cook the meat, someone needs to uh, pick up the plates and bring them to the little conveyor belt. And you've only got a couple people to do all of these jobs. So when you play this game, you have to be communicated, because maybe the vegetables are all over on one side of the kitchen, and maybe the cooking stuff is all on the other side of the kitchen, and you have to move this stuff around and work together as a team in order to serve up the right dish at the right time, before the timer runs out. It's really, really funny. And if that didn't sound crazy enough, at some points you will be maybe there's an earthquake and your kitchen gets split in half. So now people on the upper half can only throw food down to the lower half. Or maybe you are on a food truck and the food truck gets cut in half. And sometimes the food truck halves come together, in which case you can then pass the food back and forth. But then they split apart and you have to wait until it comes back together in order to accomplish the task and make the thing that needs to be made. Of course, your kitchen can also catch on fire if you are not careful, and you've got all these orders coming in, and you have to learn to prioritize really, really fast. It's really fun and very hectic, and my son and I had a lot of fun playing Overcooked Special Edition, and that's why it's number 43 on this list. Number 42 on the list is Bad North. It's $14.99. It is this really weird aesthetic to a game where it's a strategy game, like a real-time strategy game, and you have this island, and it's kind of a roguelike too, because all of the islands are procedurally generated, so you never know what is going to happen with each island as you progress through the game. And I never got to the end because I wasn't good enough. I would keep dying at a certain point, and I didn't feel like it was the fault of the game. I just didn't have the skill needed in order to pass the task. But you'll have like multiple little armies, and you tell them, okay, go guard this spot, and you're on this island, and you've got these boats that come in from the sides of the island, and as the boats come in, they will offload a bunch of enemies, which will then they will attack your buildings, and you have to defend your buildings, because at the end of the game, the buildings that you have, those are worth certain points, and then you need those points, or coins, I guess, in order to hire commanders for your army as you progress through the story. It's got a extremely cool aesthetic to it. I'm a big fan of that. And it's also probably one of the most unique games that I've played on the Nintendo Switch, and that's why Bad North comes in at 42. All right, we're at the end of this video. We're up to number 41. So make sure that you tune in next time for the next 10. But this one is $0 on the Nintendo Switch, and that is Smite. Smite is a fantastic example of a MOBA that is done right. My favorite MOBA of all time is Heroes of the Storm. And Heroes of the Storm is a wonderfully gorgeous game. The problem is that it is a mouse and keyboard game, and I very, very, very much prefer to play games on console. But Smite is a MOBA done extremely well, and it's got buckets of content out there. Now, you can play this game for 100% free, never spend a dime on it, and have fun every single time you play. You can also buy, like, I forget what it's called, but there's an in-game purchase called like a Super God Pack or whatever, and it unlocks all of the characters in the game that are in the game now, plus all future characters as well. And I recommend that you do that if you really like Smite. I think that it's a fantastic MOBA, and it comes in at number 41 for me. So that is numbers 50 through 41 of my favorite Nintendo Switch games. Let me know, what are your number 50 through 41 in the comments down below, and make sure that you subscribe so you can tune in for the next video, which will be coming out very soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.